Hello, Dr. Vikki Petersen here. I wanted to share with you an article I was reading in a gluten-free magazine. It's called Gluten-Free Living. And what they do was, in this particular article, they interviewed a lot of teenagers who were gluten intolerant and wanted to get their perspective on how they handled their gluten-free diet. And I think it's not only good for teenagers, but it's good for adults too. I think there was some really good advice, so I wanted to go over that. The number one thing they said was get educated. So of course, that is step number one. You need to know where gluten is, where it isn't, where it hides, things like soy sauce or breadcrumbs that happen to be in meatballs, things like that are very important to get educated about. Our website, healthnowmedical.com, has a great page that I'm constantly updating as I learn little areas where gluten is sneaking in that maybe are less obvious than they should be. But getting educated is very, very important. The next point was speak up, and this is something that I go over with my patients all the time, which is that you can't be shy. When you go to a restaurant, when you go to a friend's house, you need to let them know what your restrictions are. And this is a nice, really double-edged sword, because not only are you happier because you're not sort of silently wondering if there's gluten in something you're eating because you didn't speak up, but also I find, and we found this in our family with our children as well as with patients, is that opening that discussion is really a way to share with others who are suffering, who don't know they're gluten intolerant, and allowing them to get more information to discover that they are as well. I can't tell you how many people and friends my children have diagnosed just by speaking up, letting them know they can't have gluten, letting them know why, letting them know the symptoms associated with it. And we've seen a whole host of young people who now have a healthier life because they understand that they're gluten intolerant. The third point was get techie or get high tech, and that was using your smartphone and downloading some apps that help you, especially when you're traveling or you're going to restaurants. I'm going to look down and let you know what these apps were. The favorite that came out in this article, one was called Urban Spoon, and the other one was called the Gluten-Free Registry. So these were the two that came up. I know there are many more, but you can check them out for yourselves. Many of them are free, and they really help with locating gluten-free areas as well as foods that are gluten-free. So that's very helpful when you're traveling. The last point was they called it Stay Cool, which was sort of a young person's take on don't be ashamed, don't be shy, but just really go with the flow and let people know, because not only will you feel better about yourself, but once again, you'll help other people. So, if you go into it with, oh, I'm weird, I'm different, which you're not, I mean, conservatively, I think 20 to 30% of the population easily is gluten sensitive, and of course the vast majority of them don't know that. We've learned that with celiac disease, with increasing age, it rises from 1% up to 5% of the population. So these are big chunks of our population. If you add 30% with 5%, 35%, that's over a third of our population is likely intolerant to gluten. So knowing you're not unusual, you're not the vast minority by any means, that should allow you to feel not abnormal, and know that the more you talk about it, you'll feel better and you'll be educating others. A lot of the things that these teens said that were interviewed is that their friends helped them. I definitely found that out with my children as they were growing up, that their friends would go, now is that definitely gluten-free? And and they really help them through it. So frankly, if your friend, if your child has a friend who just gives them a hard time all the time, probably not that great a friend, personally, in my opinion. And ditto for adults. If somebody cares about you, they want you to be healthy. So I thought these were very good points. It's something that we do a lot here in the clinic, not only with our young people, but with our adult patients. And I think there's some good points. So I hope that's helpful, and you can use it in your family and your friends. And please send me your questions and your comments. I love to hear from you. And until next time, I wish you very good health.